chasing the rabbit so you don't have to. Here they are, Mark and Don, the two crazy guys.
Okay, thanks, Eric. We are the two crazy guys. Welcome aboard to all of you people out there on KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. I'm sitting here with Mark Boyle, aka the Prepper Guy.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? Yeah, it's like I wanted to ask you, who's this imaginary Eric guy? I just see that.
Eric is the voiceover guy.
Oh, okay. Hi, Eric.
Yeah.
And
Eric is my new go-to voiceover guy because I do voiceovers and whatnot, but every once in a while a voiceover guy needs a voiceover guy.
yeah.
And so I had a voiceover guy, but he is gone. He's retired, and so I had to find a new one. And Eric was the one that popped in there. So Eric does all of my voiceovers now.
Oh, I need someone like that to watch the words coming out of my mouth, because sometimes I say some really bad stuff.
Well, me too. And I need to try to work on that because, and I think I've gotten it down okay, but once in a while I slip, man, and I'm really bad about it.
Yeah. What are do we have any 7 deadly words in as far as what we do? I know that the main ones, yeah, like the F-bombs and stuff, but is like
I don't.
I hear stuff on the news nowadays when they'll say, "Oh, he's got a real, set of cojones," and I'm like, that's a bad word. It's just because it's in Spanish.
Right.
And so I was wondering, what I need to delete out of my repertoire.
I think if we, stay away from like the F-bombs and the really hardcore ones, I think we'll be okay. I mean,
Oh.
I think, crap is okay.
Okay, you're having a hard time saying shit, even if you had a mouthful of it. But would that be one of them? Because I don't know the audience, like as far as KYAH. Now, everywhere else, most people have heard that word their whole life. But
yeah,
that being,
I think we might, because I don't hear them talking those kind of words on any other stations or anything. We might want to try to stay away from that.
Okay, yeah, all right, we will. So, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about, I don't know, the weather.
It is awesome. Global warming.
You notice how they don't call it global warming anymore? They call it global climate change.
Yeah, because global warming was just not working out for them, I guess. At their summit, it was snowing and there was a blizzard that day or something.
Record low temperatures with ice storms moving through New York.
Well, now how's my audio? Is it too loud or I got this too close?
I think you're good. I think you're good.
My dead cat talking about climate change. I found him frozen in the snow the other day. What's your theory on global warming? Because I don't really care that somebody has turned up the thermostat, because technically we would be in an ice age.
Yeah.
If we weren't burning all this carbon and fossil fuels and stuff. And if you look at a 5 million year long, time, we went real hot down to real cold and real hot.
Right.
So on that timeline, mathematically and scientifically, we were coming down into an ice age before we started burning all this fuel 9,000 years ago and became agricultural based, to where it leveled out. And it's like, well, thank God someone fired up the heater, because I'm not down with living under a glacier.
Right. So my theory on global warming or global climate change is that I believe something is happening. The Earth actually is a living, breathing sphere. And it goes through its cycles. It goes through a warming cycle and it goes through a cooling cycle. And to interject the fact that we are choking the planet to death and that we are creating the ozone depletion and all that, I don't buy into the man-made global warming, if you will. I think it's ludicrous that somebody like Al Gore can charge you millions of dollars, and then once you pay his company, you can pollute all you want because you have a carbon offset.
Right. Yeah, that's not helping the alleged problem that they say we have. They're just
Right.
raking up some cash
Yeah.
and then giving you a pass.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if you're polluting and it's so dangerous, then you're polluting and it's so
Right.
dangerous.
Right.
And I don't think the Earth cares all that much about us as a species on a rock floating in space.
Right.
If we dropped every atomic bomb and nuclear bomb we had and just screwed the planet up, in a couple thousand years, you wouldn't even know we had been here.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
and the birds would come back. Everything would be fine,
Yeah.
except us. So
Right.
I'm surprised the Earth hasn't just shook us off into space like a dog shaking water. And
Well,
got rid of us.
I think the whole global climate change, the whole thing is a joke because you've got AOC talking about how she wants to ban airlines. You and I can't travel on an airplane, but I guarantee you they will have their corporate jets flying them around.
Right.
Like Trump said the other day, what are you going to do? Take a train to Hawaii?
Yeah. That's what's always been funny about, Al Gore and Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff. They're actually doing the one thing they say is so bad, but
Yeah.
they get a pass because, they invented the carbon, offset or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
They plant
But
a tree.
you're still doing the same thing. You're still,
Exactly.
it's like, I don't get it, never have, but I guess that's how they are. They're rich and we should shut up. Now, AOC is an amazing character from planet God knows where. But, have these people not thought about, like, look at Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un or whatever that guy is. And yeah, he's coming around to Trump's way of thinking
Yeah.
and stuff. But you always know who the leaders are in these socialist countries because they're the ones that are not skinny and emaciated.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with global warming. The people that are pushing this agenda, they'll be fine. They'll have their cars and their SUVs and whatever they want. And meanwhile, we will suffer the consequences, just like in North Korea, where everybody that doesn't have 2 or 3 stripes on their imaginary uniform is nice, fat, and happy. They got nice homes, nice cars, they eat good food. Saddam Hussein was that way. I mean, wasn't his whole family had big liquor storages under their basement and pornography and everything that they would behead you for or something? They were living that life and telling everybody else, well, you shouldn't do this because, whatever.
Well, General Noriega of Panama was that way. I was there. I saw it. I witnessed the average, Panamanian citizen working for $2.25 an hour, hungry, and a lot of the dignity battalions, if you will, they were given lunch boxes. Of course, they had to go and show up to the protests, the pro-Noriega thing and the anti-Noriega protests, and then they were given their meal pass. And it was, and here he is, the king drug pin of the entire cartel system. And that's the other thing is, he had control over the drugs where now there is no control. And so why don't we take a break, Mark, and we'll come back why don't we insert a break here? And then we'll come back right after the break and continue with that thought.
Awesome idea.
The Two Crazy Guys on Contra Radio Network and KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority.
Hi, this is John Jeffers, inviting you to listen to my show, The Jeffers Brief. On The Jeffers Brief, we discuss topics of interest and concerns for preppers and patriots. And you can only find us on the Contra Radio Network on podbean.com or KYAH 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. Hope you join me, and we'll talk to you then.
Talking the issues and taking the hit. Here they are, the two crazy guys.
Okay, welcome back from the break. And we would like to invite you to go visit our sponsors. Remember, all those guys over at Contra Radio Network. And again, we'd like to thank all of you for tuning in right here on KYAH. So we were talking about, dictators and global warming and all that good stuff before we left the break. And I was talking about General Noriega. I was there. I witnessed the whole thing. I saw it as it went down.
Yeah, you are an eyewitness, not secondhand, information.
Right. And a big thing with the border that we have going on now is, like I was saying, that when Noriega was there, he had control of the drugs. He had control of the cartels. He was the man in charge. And when he was taken out, and that's a whole nother show, I can go into that whole thing too, because I know the story behind it that the media will never tell you. But when he was removed from office, now it's rampant. There is no control over the drugs. There is no control over the cartels. And now you have the cartels fighting each other over, the territory. And this whole thing about these people coming up here from Central America to seek a better life, let me tell you something, brother. The average Guatemalan citizen cannot afford to take a trek from Guatemala to the United States. Somebody is funding that. Somebody is paying for that.
Right. Yeah. Because, they talk about these coyotes and stuff, charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a head. Well, the reason they're leaving that rat hole country is because they don't have 3,000 or 4,000 or no way of even earning that much and saving that much. So obviously there's something going on that, they're spinning the story.
Well, here's the other thing. I mean, you see them waving their flags and waving their banners and the love of their country and all of that. If their countries are that great, why not just stay there?
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, if I was born in Mexico and lived under those conditions, I would want to leave too. But the reality is America wasn't really all that great when we first started it. We had to go to war with England. We had to go to war with, I think, France and Spain and even Mexico. And then we killed off half of our population in the Civil War to get to a point to where people want to come here now. So if the people hate their country so bad, turn around and start marching the other way. 15 million people wouldn't fit through that little narrow space that goes down to Mexico City. By the time they got there, it'd be like popping a zit. They wouldn't even have to shoot people. They would just push them out.
Yeah.
And so they don't want to work for what they say they want. So it leads me to believe that they don't really want that. They're lazy or they're being used.
Well, they want to leave what they're fleeing, but they want to bring it here. Like California. California has turned into a crud hole utopia, and they're fleeing. People, I saw a thing the other day that, people are in mass exodus out of California because they've created all these policies that they can't live by. And now they want to come over here and bring that garbage here. And I'm sorry, I don't want you to California-ize my America.
Right. I should silence that if I was a real professor. Well, we were talking, I know this all came back to, climate and how the leaders never, they don't lead by example, that's for sure. And I think that, just like socialism or everything else that's being shoved down our throat, it'll be great for the people running the show. But even the media, the head media people will not be in that upper echelon. When that day comes, then all of a sudden they've become useless idiots.
That's it.
And then they're gone too. And I don't know why people can't learn from history and go, we've seen it happen before. It's not like some abstract term like, fusion energy from a tap water source that free world energy. It's something real that we can see. And we can look back and study and go, holy crap, Ayn Rand wrote about it in all our books, how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we're incapable of figuring that out as a species, or
Mm-hmm.
the 2 week, or what is it, 2 day news cycle nowadays. But
Right. Right.
so when you were around Noriega and stuff, what was that? Just like economic hitmen came in and took him out basically because he wasn't towing the line.
No. So what happened with General Noriega was, okay. So first of all, you have to go back to Omar Torrijos. Omar Torrijos was the man in charge of Panama, and he died in an airplane crash.
Huh.
Go figure.
Yeah, it does happen,
Uh,
but
and so General Noriega, what a lot of people don't understand, was part of the United States CIA.
okay.
And so mm,
So
the U.S.
he was like
the
the
U.S.
Shah of
wanted,
Iran, kind of
yes,
was.
we kind of backed him going into power at first, okay, and then he became the strong man and the military leader of Panama, a communist dictatorship. And remember the Iran Contra and all of that stuff, and all those arms went through the canal. Okay,
Oh,
all
okay.
that stuff went right through the Great Panama Canal, and he knew about all that stuff. And Oliver North was made the scapegoat of all of that whole Iran Contra thing. They had to have a scapegoat, so they made it Ollie North. And you know what happened was his pants got too big for his britches, and he started threatening to talk. And the United States said, well, no, you won't. We're going to shut you up. We're going to come get you. And so they started looking for a reason to go in and get him. And that reason happened when his Panama Defense Forces and Dignity Battalions went in. There was an arms deal that went bad, and there was some people that sold some weapons to the wrong group of people, and those people went to that person's house. And bottom line is, they ended up beating his wife, or beating him up and raping his wife, and the whole 9 yards went down. And that's when George Bush Sr. got his look. I'm sorry, but I'm coming in to get you. That's the last straw. You can't do that to American citizens. And so there was Operation Just Cause went down, and they went in and they got Noriega and they brought him, and the rest is kind of history. But
Right.
the big reason they went to go get Noriega was to shut him up.
Yeah, that's usually the main reason,
Yeah.
follow the money and stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, that you were talking about what were the boots on the ground? Did you call them the what forces?
So he had just like we have our different military forces. We have the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and then within those uh, branches of military service, you have your detachments. You have your first of the 508th Airborne Infantry, and whatever
like the SEALs or Navy and Rangers or Army.
Well, he had the Panama Defense Force, the PDF, and then within the PDF you had your dignity battalions, batallones de la dignidad is what he would call them.
Dignity battalions.
Yeah, dignity battalions. And these were plainclothes people that would go into citizens and just shoot them, and then disperse into the crowd. If you were caught saying something against General Noriega, you were put on a hit list, and they would come and get you, and they would kill you, or you would disappear and never to be seen or heard from again. Kind of like Clinton, people that turn on Clinton,
So this was actually, though, sanctioned, even though it's under the table and not in plain view, by the CIA. And
Well, no, I don't
he was in there for that, so therefore, wouldn't his actions kind of the
so
bad done?
that was after the CIA stuff.
Okay.
That all started to take place when General Noriega started to let his britches get too big for himself.
Okay.
And then that's when he started creating, he had the Sandblast, the Indians, the Cunayala, and all these different people, the Montañas and the Mountaineers and all these other branches that he would create. And they were, because he thought that he was going to fight the United States. And believe it or not, we actually had some of the Sandinistas in there. The Nicaraguan Sandinistans were in there. And I mean, those were some really, really bad, dangerous people, those Sandinistas, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And he brought them in there, and because he was preparing to battle the United States over Panama. You know, I'm the strong man, por Panama la vida coño. And you'd see him up there with his, just like, Kim Jong-un, saber rattling. And finally, the United States just said, that's enough. We're done. And they went and got him, and they
Okay.
squashed him like the little grape that he was. But
Right.
what they'll tell you is that the first 48 hours of fighting, I spoke with an individual that was in the military that was a pretty high ranking individual, and he said the first 48 hours of that battle was pretty fierce, and that's
Wow.
because they had Sandinista training. Now, what they won't tell you too is that the United States trained a lot of the PDF, and so go figure that they were using our weapons, they were using our military clothing. They were wearing the same exact fatigues that
So pretty much the same as what happened with bin Laden and Al
yeah,
Qaeda. We, started out being an ally, and yes, in times of war, you got to sleep with weird people, but then it just morphed into this problem that now they have all of our equipment and our training, which is
that's
pretty
exactly
top
right.
notch.
Yeah. So what
Wow.
we did in order to, all right, so and I will attest to the incredible power of the United States military, because I witnessed what they did was when they decided they were going to go in at Zulu time, D-Day, D time, it was, they went in and they struck every military structure for the PDF at the exact same time, down to the second.
Wow.
Okay. They went in there and they said, look, they broadcasted on big loudspeakers. Look, we're giving you one chance to surrender, and then we're going to come get you. And the ones that surrendered. The ones that didn't, they got hammered. And my sister in Gamboa on the Isthmus, in a little town called Gamboa, she lived right across the street from one of the PDF barracks. And they went in and totally annihilated that barracks and didn't put so much as one piece of shrapnel in my sister's house.
Wow.
I'm telling you, pinpoint
That's
accuracy.
targeted. Yeah.
Pinpoint accuracy, buddy. I saw it. I witnessed it personally. So for all these people out there that are saying that we're out there striking all these innocent civilians and killing all these people in war that don't need to be killed, yeah, does it happen? Probably, but not probably to the extent that they're saying it, because I've seen the pinpoint accuracy of the military.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Well, we're
Magic Dragon, Puff the Magic Dragon, C-131 Stark since Vietnam has been able to go in and put a bullet in every square foot precisely, and go in and make toothpicks out of an entire jungle.
wow.
And
See, I love that stuff. That's the one reason that I think I like paying taxes, because I believe in a gunfight you need the biggest, best gun, and have people that know how to use it.
I'm telling
and
you,
we're starting to run out of time here. We got another minute, and we started talking about the corruption of these people, no matter if it's global warming, prophets, or like Noriega and stuff, and even like Castro when he started. Nobody ever sees that the legwork has been done for years, and Shelby Gallagher's new book, the Divide. The character in it is like a social worker, and so she brings her perspective to it, and that's what bothers her. She's like, we're taking these mothers, single moms, and making them dependent on a government, and so that way when it collapses, who are they going to turn to? They're not going to turn to the husband or the father, because they've marginalized him.
right.
And so you almost build a boots on the ground network of entitled people that have nowhere else to turn but to the hand that feeds them. And
Right.
to think that that's not a plan, maybe not a plan that is talked about, but it's out there for sure. And
I've
so
seen it, dude. I have seen
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah. So, well, we gotta go to a break and
Right on.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch them next time as they dig into the issues. The Two Crazy Guys. Log on to the website at www.contraradionetwork.com.